On average, each climber generates about 18 pounds of trash during their mountain marathon. And sadly, most of that waste gets abandoned, littering the slopes like a trail of breadcrumbs. What are the ecological consequences for Mount Everest? And will all this trash cause more deadly accidents? In the breathtaking land of Nepal, where dreams rise high, stands the majestic and legendary Mount Everest. Here it's known as Sagarmatha, which translates to none other than forehead in the sky. We're talking about the highest peak on planet Earth, soaring tall and proud at a whopping 8,849 meters. That's a staggering 29,032 feet. Can you believe it? It's like touching the heavens themselves. But the Himalayas has even more surprises up their sleeves. Stretching over a mind-boggling 2,400 kilometers, that's about 1,500 miles, this incredible mountain range spans 6 Asian countries. Back in 1953, the brave souls Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay etched their names in history as the very first folks to reach the summit of Mount Everest. Fast forward to today, and Everest has become the magnet for thrill seekers from all walks of life. Yep, it's the place to be for all those adrenaline junkies and adventure enthusiasts out there. With thousands flocking to this majestic peak, the beloved Everest is feeling the pinch. Yep, it's starting to show some wear and tear, and it's not pretty. The mountain's getting a bit overcrowded, and sadly, the traces left behind are becoming way too visible. Imagine a high-altitude garbage dump. That's right. Everest now earned the dubious title of the world's highest garbage dump. In Sagarmatha National Park, where Mother Nature throws a party like no other. Created back in '76 to safeguard the mountain marvel and its wild inhabitants, this place quickly earned its UNESCO stripes as a World Heritage Site in '79. Talk about a VIP status that's well-deserved. With a whopping 100,000 visitors stampeding in each year, this park is feeling the heat. Yep, it's like throwing the wildest bash, but the aftermath leaves a trail of trampled toes and crumpled confetti. The natural wonders here are getting quite the workout, and it's starting to show. And then there is the deforestation dilemma that's giving the local area a serious headache. Tourists come rolling in, and the trees start to fall like dominoes, all for lodges and that toasty firewood. Picture this: peak season hits, and the park becomes a hotspot. Up to 500 people per day are raring to tackle the epic hike to base camp. The excitement's off the charts, but guess what? It's taking a toll on the precious footpaths. They're starting to feel the strain. Mount Everest, the ultimate pinnacle of exploration, attracts over 600 daredevils every climbing season. They wait for those precious few weeks when Mother Nature herself gives the green light with perfect weather conditions. The Everest frenzy has reached its peak, and climbers find themselves caught in a cold queue, waiting for hours just to reach the top. The air grows thinner and thinner, demanding an oxygen mask to brave the summit's thin atmosphere. And when they've conquered the impossible and touched the heavens, the celebration is bittersweet. With so many climbers at the party, there is barely any room to stand. The climbers, fueled by determination, spend weeks conquering that mighty peak. They brave the altitude, set up camp after camp, and inch closer to the triumphant summit. But here's the catch: while they're chasing glory, they're leaving behind quite a mess. Yeah, you heard it right. On average, each climber generates about 8 kilograms, that's around 18 pounds, of trash during their mountain marathon. And sadly, most of that waste gets abandoned, littering the slopes like a trail of breadcrumbs. Discarded oxygen canisters, abandoned tents, scattered food containers, and yes, even human waste is there. At base camp, they've got some clever tinted toilets with giant barrels for collection, but beyond that, nature's call is answered without a restroom in sight. The scale of this trashy mystery is mind-boggling. No one knows the exact amount, but we're talking tons of litter. It's like a never-ending treasure hunt of discarded items, spilling out from glaciers and piling up at campsites. And guess what? Climate change is jumping in on the action, melting snow and ice, and uncovering even more ancient garbage that's been hiding for ages. This mess is causing chaos in the natural world, and it's a serious health hazard for all living in the Everest area. The Sagarmatha National Park watershed is no ordinary water source. It's a lifeline for thousands of folks living in nearby communities. Here's the deal. This watershed works like a magical conductor, channeling rainfall and snowmelt from the mountains into streams and rivers. With no waste management or sanitation facilities around, garbage and sewage end up in massive pits just outside the local villages. And when the monsoon season hits, guess where it all flows? Right into the waterways. The sad result. The once pristine watershed is now swimming in contamination. That spells trouble for the local people's health. Water filled with fecal matter is like a playground for deadly waterborne diseases such as cholera and hepatitis A. Governments and NGOs have joined forces to tackle this trash trouble head-on. In 2019, the Nepali government launched a heroic campaign aiming to clear a staggering 10,000 kilograms, that's a massive 22,000 pounds, of waste from Everest slopes. It all started back in 2014 with a bright idea to make climbers part of the solution. To set foot on this majestic peak, adventurers must pitch in a $4,000 deposit, but fear not, they can earn it back like a treasure prize. How? By coming back with a heroic haul of 8 kilograms, around 18 pounds of garbage, the average amount produced by a single climber during their daring ascent. It's not just the local authorities on the job. The Sagarmatha Pollution Control Committee, SPCC, is in the spotlight too. For years, these Sherpa superheroes have been giving it their all to keep this region sparkling clean. The SPCC, an NGO and non-profit led by the local Sherpa community, is on a mission like no other. They're like a top-notch waste management squad, making sure Everest's surroundings stay pristine. No trash trouble gets past these folks. They also make sure everyone has the proper legal permission to climb this majestic peak. Safety first, right? But that's not all. These environmental crusaders are also likewise teachers. They educate visitors on the art of nature-loving and taking care of our precious environment. The Mount Everest Biogas project is in action, cooking up a sustainable solution to the sanitation struggle. Imagine this, a solar-powered system that turns human waste into fuel for the local communities. Yes, you heard it right. No more dumping of feces in local villages, which means less water contamination and a cleaner environment. Plus, bonus points. It creates more jobs for the local folks. Since Hillary and Norgay's epic summit in '53, over 4,000 trailblazers have followed in their footsteps, and every season, hundreds more dare to reach for the stars. Nepal relies on the income from these climbers. With 1 in 4 people living below the poverty line, climbing permits are like gold, generating millions of dollars that fuel the local economy. And it doesn't stop there. Park visitors create even more opportunities, supporting local heroes working as porters and guides or providing cozy accommodation. Ever wondered what this towering wonder is called in Tibetan? Say hello to Komolangma in Chinese, the awe-inspiring goddess mother of the world. For the Sherpa people, Everest is not just any mountain. It's a sacred sanctuary deserving of honor and respect. Once upon a time, this landscape was pure magic, a stunning masterpiece of nature. But poor waste management and too many climbers turned it into a messy maze. But here comes some good news. The SPCC and the Mount Everest Biogas project, along with climbers and the Nepali government, are teaming up. Together, we'll start a grand journey of restoration, bringing back the glory of the world's highest peak. With that said, thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more.